Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to December predictions, December reading for all of your earth signs. So we're going to be looking at Aries, Leo, and of course Sagittarius. So if you are brand new here, well, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here. My name is Meshi and I am an intuitive reader and a healer, and I do general oracle readings. Usually we talk about spiritual practices and spirituality and anything and everything that can help you with your own expansion. So if that sounds good, you would probably really enjoy it here. So consider subscribing if you haven't yet already. Okay, why don't we get started? Timestamp is, as always, it's going to be in the description and also in the comments as well. So just hop on over to your own reading. Before we dive in though, let's collectively take a moment, get centered, and take a deep breath. Perfect. Let's get started. Okay, Aries, you are up first, and let's see what is coming up for you for the month of December. Okay, so this month we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I was actually, as I was shuffling the cards and setting things up, I was actually asking what it is that you need to release. So what is not serving you, what is working for you, and what is there to help you, and why. So let's take a look and see what's kind of coming through. So first and foremost, what is something that you need to release going into the month of December is this idea of extremes. And I mean, honestly, Aries, if we're being really honest here, this does not surprise me because we tend to be a little bit extreme sometimes, and we love you for it. But I don't think it's really, I don't think that moving into December, it's really going to be serving you the way that you think it's going to be serving you. I think that it's absolutely wonderful that you have all the drive in the world and motivation, and you want to get the momentum going and everything. But I think that it's really taking you to your own edge. And I think that that's the part that's really not serving you. I don't think that it's really helping you with your own evolution, with your own expansion in a way that you think it is. And I mean, I kind of relate because it's not easy. But why don't we dive into this a little bit deeper? What can actually help you in this whole process for the month of December is this idea of the bear medicine. And this is all about, really, to me, this is all about self-care. It's all about well, here, there's no tomorrow without the healing of the past, for in stillness you shall find yourself right where you are. Is that when we're going through this idea of doing everything to the maximum, at some point we're going to have to find ourselves in surrender, and then moving into this quiet, into the serenity, into the stillness, and into less. So embracing this idea that rest can be just as rejuvenating as movement and as action, I think is going to not only challenge you, but it's going to be the very thing that kind of you need. And embrace this idea in probably the busiest month of this entire year. So I mean, the challenge is yours if you shall accept it. And what is something that is here to help you? It's the shadow. But exactly what about the shadow? I think that what's happening really, and what's going to be coming up for you quite clearly, to be honest, is this idea of maybe perhaps you pushing in all areas of your life is no longer serving you. And I think that you were spending most of your time being busy for the sake of being busy, rather than creating momentum and really creating balance in all areas of your life. So this can relate to, and I think that you're seeing it manifest in your relationships with your family, with how much time you actually leave for yourself. And I think it's also manifesting in your work. Absolutely. I think that you got this into your head, this idea that the harder you work, the your worth is attached to how much you work, which isn't, I get that that's sort of the conditioning of it all, but take a look at that. Take a look at what is kind of coming up for you within that, because there's a lot of shadow work that is trying to come through and embracing that and accepting that that's how you function. Perhaps, I think the month of December is going to be the month for you where you're going to really ask yourself questions and start challenging your belief system, start challenging those ideas that really made you believe that the harder you work, the more successful you will be. Because I think that you're starting to understand that that's actually, it might not always be accurate. So just kind of keep an eye out for that. And something that would kind of explain why all of this is helpful, or why all of this is sort of unfolding for you, is this idea of creating boundaries, because perhaps you haven't really had too much of a chance to do that, or you weren't creating too many boundaries because you were constantly pushing onto the next goal and onto the next endeavor, onto the next idea to continuously chase. And through chasing, sometimes we don't create boundaries with ourselves, we don't create structure with ourselves, but we're also not creating structure with other people, right? So sometimes we let people in that we're teaching them that it's okay to ask for more. It's okay to use up our energy. It's okay to do those things that are really actually not for our own benefit. So kind of take a look at how this is sort of unfolding for you for the month of December. I'm very curious to see how that's going to kind of unfold for you. I definitely see a lot of shadow work that you're going to be doing, whether intentionally or unintentionally. If you are doing them intentionally, obviously use the moon cycles so that you're kind of synced up with all of that. But also just entertain the idea of less. What would that really feel like within your body? How would that feel? What would this idea of not pushing and striving so hard, how would that actually come to fruition for you? Let's see what the tarot has to say. See if we can get some guidance for you here. And don't worry, if the light is too bright, you guys, then I will show you a close-up of the cards. We have your Page of Materials, the Six of Voices, the Magician, and the Chariot. Okay, let's unpack. You see it, you want it. You see it, you want it, and you want it immediately. And it's like, I want it everywhere. I see this object that I desire, and I want it all the time. And again, like this whole idea of extremes, it's very interesting of why that's not serving you, or how you are functioning, you know, with this idea of constantly taking it all the way, constantly taking it to the extreme in everything that you do. Well, most things, right? But this idea of just continuously consuming and continuously striving, that's the part that you really need to let go of. It isn't interesting how they're actually lining up for you. And what if you lean, what if you kind of let go of those old ideas? What if you entertain and allow the universe to actually push you into something, to your own edge, which I think is actually going to happen through doing some inner work, through entertaining, exactly diving deeper into what's already there, but just really understanding yourself at a deeper level versus really just staying surface level and just, you know, piling on the next thing and the next thing, the next purchase, the next trip, the next whatever. Just keep throwing more things at you without really gaining clarity and intentionality of why you're doing those things, or being clear of what is it that you actually need, you know? Being clear it's only going to come through doing inner work and really having the courage to take a look at what's pushing you, why is it pushing you, right? And just knowing that when you connect, and I mean, if you do these things, you're going to have the insights, you're going to have the downloads that you're really hoping for, you're going to get the clarity, so that all of this needs to trickle through you. And if you allow it to be, then, you know, then we can kind of move forward. And not only that, but if you allow this to take place, if you allow it and create space for it, even just a little bit, you can pick up so much more momentum. You can pick up so much more momentum in your goals, in your aspirations, in the things that you want to manifest. I think that this is going to serve you internally. I think that you're going to find a lot more alignment through this. even though it's not going to be comfortable. I mean, you know, nobody ever wakes up in the morning and says, wow, I cannot wait to do some more shadow work today. However, just understand that the way that things are right now for you, or the way that they were leading up to this point, has not served you to its best of its ability. And if you're willing to change your mind and not be stubborn about it, and change the way that you think about how much you work, change the way that you think about how much you're giving or not giving within your relationships, within your partnerships, how are you showing up in those areas, and how much balance are you bringing into your space? Because ultimately, it's like you need to kind of figure out like what is actually bringing you balance and what is bringing you out of alignment. And that's going to come through inquiring and having the courage to really look at that in a more honest way, right? So contemplate on that. This is all I have for you. Hop on over to the very end of the video, you guys. Use the timestamp below, because I will pull a couple of guardian angel cards. I want to pull some angel cards for you guys to see if that can actually guide you along for the month of December. Let's move on to Leos and see what's coming up for them. Hello, Leo. How are you? Welcome to your December. So the way that I have set up your cards for this month is we're going to be looking at what is it that you need to kind of let go of, what is not serving you, what is serving you, and what is there to help you and why. So let's take a look. What is not serving you is pleasure. Maybe a little bit too much, maybe diving a little bit too deep in there, maybe you're going a little too extreme on this, Leo. I mean, maybe we need to kind of redefine what does that really mean for you. Where are you being out of alignment with all of this, right? Why do we need to let go of pleasure? Pleasure is generally something obviously pleasurable, but there's something in that that just doesn't sit right. You know what I mean? Especially moving into the merriest of all the months that are coming up. I think that we really need to, I think that you're going to be really re-examining why you need to let go of. Maybe you're overindulging. I kind of feel like that might actually be kind of what's happening when this idea of just too much. What is it that you do need to embrace is Mother Mary. Into the arms and mothering embrace swells a wisdom full of grace. In thy bosom where she whispers sleeps the eye of winter. Releasing this idea of how you relate to pleasure, I guess, and releasing this idea of this fleeting emotion of constantly chasing the joy, chasing this fleeting emotion that just kind of comes and goes, and yet it still leaves you unfulfilled. That's the part that I think you really need to embrace, that you're going to be really releasing if you're ready for it, of course. And embracing instead this idea of your own intuition, of your own wisdom, of knowing that all your guides are around you and you can call upon them at any time. But the wisdom is still within you, right? Like true meaning, I guess, it lies within you. So how can you apply that? What wisdom are you going to be gaining in the month of December? In what area can you apply that? Because this you can actually apply within your relationships, of how you show up within your relationships, how you think of free time. What does quality time really mean? And I mean, you're going to see a big example of that moving into the holiday season. So maybe it just really shows up as not buying too many things, but spending time instead, right? So it could be something so simple, but it can be so meaningful. So it's almost like build memories. I'm kind of getting that build memories rather than buying more things. You know what I mean? What can help us along the way is feeling successful, but also celebrating your own successes. I think that in itself, because sometimes when we're chasing this idea of pleasure all the time, then it just means that we're in a place of lack. Like when you're chasing, that means that it's coming from a place of you needing to fill up that hole continuously, right? And when you let go of that idea and know that the inner wisdom is all within you already, then you can really truly embrace success the way that it actually fulfills you, the way that it fills up your cup, right? And I mean, maybe feeling successful is being around people. Maybe it's being with family. Maybe it's quality time, right? Maybe it's literally you being surrounded by all the people and giving them space and giving them time, giving them your own energy and allowing yourself to really receive all the things that they want to share with you. And here's why. When you get grounded, then you are sort of functioning from a completely different space. When you connect deep within and come back to this idea of, it's almost like you need to like nurture you first, right? Like rather than going for the superficial, go for the deep, go for the meaningful, go for the holiday traditions, go for all of those things, because I think that that's also going to serve you more and with a deeper satisfaction, as you will, versus just chasing more fun, more fleeting, empty emotions, I guess. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Okay, so we have the Queen of Materials, the Empress, the Fool, and the Wheel. Again, major arcanas galore. Let's unpack, shall we? So, I think that this is just, again, a reminder to... And isn't it funny how they're lining up again? To me, this is all about... It's not that, okay, so it's not that you can't have nice things. That's so not what we're saying here. But what we are saying is just know its purpose, right? And I think it's very important that you surround yourself with beautiful things, but at the same time, know that you are in control of the things that you're sort of manifesting. You're in control. Not only that, but beyond that, like if you are, it's sort of like if we're truly embracing this idea of, like, to me, this whole card of pleasure and releasing this idea of pleasure, it's like, I kind of think of this as Amazon shopping, right? Where you're just buying things to pass time. If you release that, then you're not only building true wealth, but you're going to be really, it's like you're going to be the conscious creator and manifester. And that's kind of how I feel about this. And I mean, ultimately, again, we're back to the whole Empress energy, and that's exactly what the Mother Mary is all about, where it's just understanding that, like, you're intuitively, I think, you know, of like what you actually need, but you have to have the courage to actually go within and inquire, go within and really truly feel of what is missing, what is in alignment, and how can you really bring balance into the way that you are manifesting, right? The way that you are really showing up, right? Because ultimately, knowing that, like, there is no lack. Like, sometimes we kind of go back to this whole idea of, I need more, I need this, I need. It always goes back to lack. But when you kind of bring it all back to you, then you realize that it's like, no, actually, I'm not missing anything. I already have the job. I already have the people around me. And when you start kind of listing all the things that are actually working out for you, then we can really release this idea of I need more, you know? Because that's what this really feels like for me, where it's like, I just need more. Can you release that? Can we let go of that idea, even just for a little bit? Can you practice that? How would that feel for you? What would that really feel like in one of the busiest, most overconsumed months of the year? What would that really, how would that show up for you? And also, what would it feel like for you to really embrace in all of the ways that you're already successful? Can you take that leap, right? Like, really, can you take that leap? Can you actually believe in yourself first before you kind of believe in all of the other things that are external and outside of you? What would that look like within your jobs? right? What would that look like within your relationship? I wonder. It's like all of these things that are sort of wondering. I think that it would definitely, I think what's going to happen is that basically if you take some time, create some practices that really allow you to connect a little bit deeper and really inquire and start peeling back the layers of sort of what's triggering you and what can you embrace within your day-to-day practices, then I think that that will have slowly but surely will start turning the way that, not only the way that you're showing up within your job, but the way that you're showing up within your relationships, because you're literally reforming how you relate to pleasure. So I don't think that you need to release pleasure, but I definitely think that you need to release this idea of fast and empty consumerism. That's what I think. That's sort of what this is talking about here. And you can do that just by slowly and surely by bringing that power back to you. And see kind of what unfolds for you. Lots of inner work, lots of grounding practices. So doing your breath work, doing your meditations, doing your journaling, doing your mantras, your affirmations, all of the things that really allow you to connect deeper, right? All of those things are going to be so healing for you throughout the month. And obviously use the lunar cycles, use your astrology, see sort of like where all of that lies for you, because I think that that's really what's going to actually save your sanity for the month of December. This is all I have for you, Leos. I hope that this has resonated. Stay tuned until the end so we can get a couple of angel cards and some abundance cards to guide you along for the month of December. Let's go on to Saggies. Hello, Saggies. How are you? So this month we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at what is it that you need to release? What is it that you need to embrace? What can be here to help you along the way and why? So let's take a look and see kind of what's happening for you for the month of December. You need to release the unexpected. The blue moon, the unexpected. I think that you're just, it's like you're waiting for like the miracle, right? Like I feel like you're just waiting for like, oh, that's gonna be the thing that saves me. I think that you need to release this idea that what you want is out of the ordinary. What else? It's just, I think that you need to normalize the things that you desire. You need to normalize the way that you want to feel, right? And I think that you have this idea that what you want and how you want to manifest the things in your life, in your career, in your relationships, with your finances, with how you want to feel, with your health, all of those things. I think that you feel like you got this idea in your head that it's so grand and it's so out of the ordinary, but out of the ordinary as in out of reach. That's what you need to release. I think that you need to release that idea because you need to create some space for miracles. But you need to create some space for miracles so that you can work on your own miracles. That's kind of what I'm getting here. What do you need to embrace instead? You need to embrace your faith, and you need to embrace that the things that are actually sacred, which I mean, it's not going to be very difficult in the month of December, I don't think. It's embracing tradition. It's embracing the things that really help you connect deeper. Because I think that you lost touch from that a little bit. Maybe you got disconnected through your work. You got busy, you got distracted, and it's like you lost that connection, right? And so right now it's just like you're still connected to this idea that all of the things that you really truly desire in all areas of your life are so out of reach right now for you. When meanwhile, they're actually closer than you think, but you need to connect back deeper. You need to really light up all those candles and really connect back. Connect back to what was sacred and what is sacred. Right? You need to kind of connect back to that idea of what allowed you to connect deeper and have true faith. What does faith really look like for you? Something to contemplate. And what can help you? All the things that light you up. And I mean, like, light is all around you right now, right? But it's like you need to kind of connect back to not only having faith, but you need to connect back to the things that actually light you up. What is lighting you up? Create space for that. Figure that out. Because when you do, when you create from a space of passion, when you create from a place of this inspired action, then you're no longer looking at the things that you want to manifest as so out of reach. Then you actually believe in your own manifestation ability and your own powers. And I think that you just really lost touch and you lost faith for a moment. And here's why. It's because, like, honestly, I just feel like the reason why all of this was unfolding for you and leading up to this point, and perhaps you're really riding in a season that is really muggy and hard and really slow, and it just feels like you're in the trenches, right? Not only will you connect back to your faith, will actually be healing, but you have to also kind of sometimes, if you're in that chapter of your life, you have to ask yourself, what is this showing me? How can I learn through this? How can I grow through this? Like, your biggest question right now throughout all of this for the month of December is going to be, how can I embrace this faster so I can move through it? How can I embrace it? It's like Brendan Burchard always says, embrace the suck. Can you do that? Right? Can you do that? Because if you can, then you can move through it. You can actually create momentum, because by that point you're working on the progress. You're no longer just contemplating on the problem, right? Let's see what the tarot has to say for you. Okay, so we have the Priestess, the Knight of Emotions, Nine of Voices, and Nine of Inspiration. So let's unpack. I think that the reason why we need to kind of release this idea of the unexpected, we need to release this idea of all of your desires are sort of out of reach, is because the magic is already within you, right? Which, I mean, we kind of already know that, and we always talk about this, but there's a difference between talking about it versus embracing it, right? I think that when you create the practices, when you create the space for you to believe in your own practices, your own magic, your own manifestation ability, as you will, then it's like, you know, you can have the world in the palm of your hands. Like, really, you truly can. Like, anything and everything that you put your mind to, you can absolutely manifest it. However, it starts with you believing that you can, but it starts with really getting a hold of your emotions, managing your emotions in a way that it's like you're getting to the heart of things, but also you are under control of, you're not letting the waves kind of rock you so much. I feel like leading up to this point, it's like it's been a whirlwind of emotions for you. Perhaps you're not having the most fun right now, but it's like, but it's all, you have to understand it has to, like, honestly, it has to be this way. It has to be this way. It's just a matter of, like, can you move through it a little bit easier so that it's not so freaking treacherous, right? And the other thing is that, like, listen to your own intuition. Listen to getting those downloads. Listen to the voices that are trying to guide you. You know, listen to the voices that are trying to guide you, not just the voices that are in your head trying to manipulate you or trying to derail you from your path. And really see, like, if you kind of go back to, okay, what could be, I guess, like, the biggest question is, what can be the easiest, most direct way for me to move from A to B, or to move through this? What will allow me to sleep soundly at night, right? Those are the questions that once you kind of ask yourself in an open-ended way, you're gonna, basically, when you tap into your passion, it all kind of, doesn't that look like it's actually aligning perfectly, right? And just know that like your path is always guided. It always is. Everything is interconnected, which again, we kind of know that, but I don't know, man. I think that it's just sometimes we get so caught up with the problems that it's like this is the only thing that we're focused on rather than focusing on all of this other aspects of our lives that are actually working for us, right? Sometimes we get so caught up with just waiting for somebody to come and save us, waiting for the miracles, that we kind of forget that it's all within you. You know, like you can pull yourself out of this at any time, you know, and the month of December is your opportunity to do just that, right? The month of December is going to be your opportunity to not only pick up momentum, but also manage your emotions and really reignite what actually lit you up in the first place. Because I think that there's plenty. But that will happen if you connect back to your faith. Can you connect back to that? Can you connect back to that so that you can see that, you know, you are the light, right? Like you are your own saving light. That's ultimately like the big underlying message of it all, is to seeing the power within you, the value within you, and that will trickle out again into all areas of your life. I think that this is more about your work right now more than anything else, and I think that that's kind of seeping into other areas of your life too. But I think that the emotions are really just like draining off the energy within you, right? And I think that also whatever you're going through right now, I don't think that you were expecting it, and I don't think that you were mentally ready to, I mean, I don't think anybody's ever ready to kind of work through it, but here we are having this conversation, right? This is all I have for you. I hope that this has resonated. If it did, then just stay tuned until the very end, and I will pull a couple of guiding. What do we have here? We have some angel cards, and we also have some abundance cards. So both of those, I think, will provide you with some guidance further for the month of December. So let's go. Okay, Earth signs, we have made it. Okay, guys, we have made it. We have made it. But first of all, thanks so much for making it to the very end. Let's see what guardian angel can actually help you for the month of December. What can be helpful for the collective? And I wanted to pull an abundance card. Okay, you have your trustworthy friends. Thank you, angel, for surrounding me with people I can trust and love. The miracle of nature. Thank you, angels, for helping me to reconnect through nature and fresh air. And we have your intuition. Each person's road to the inner Lord is extraordinary and personal, and how liberating to listen inside a sense of moment to moment what's needed. So here's what I think will help you guys. I think that connecting back with your friends, connecting back to nature, spending time in nature and getting really grounded, grounding your energy so that you're not so much in your head all the time, and listening to your intuition, listening to your heart, allowing your decisions more to connect through heart center versus anywhere else will be one of your biggest guides moving into the month of December. This is all I have for you. I hope that you have found this helpful and useful. If you did, you already know what to do. You can give me a thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not yet already. And just keep seeking wellness seekers, and I will see you guys again in my next video. Bye.